Hey everyone, I'm Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs. So this is a sample board that the customer came over, looked at, and approved it, really liked it. So I invited the customer over to see if he wanted to be there when I created a larger sample board because I wanted to see that same design on a larger surface to get kind of a better perspective because the customer had over 60 square feet of countertop space. So this is 3/4 MDF, and it is, I think it's about 18 inches by 48 inches, give or take. And we're going to create that same design on here, only I'm going to get the customer involved. Little does he know, I gave him a pair of gloves and said, you're going to help. So we started out putting down a wash coat, and I actually put some bling in that wash coat in case some of that would kind of peekaboo through after we get our colors down. So that's what I'm doing here is putting down a wash coat. And that's going to help the epoxy flow once we get the colors put on there. And I'm using basically three different colors of black because I want to give some visual interest to the undertones. And so there's kind of a solid black, a black metallic, and then another black metallic that's kind of a dark charcoal. And so I gave Dave some colors and we're both pouring it out. And one thing I made a comment to Dave, when you pour those undertone colors out, if you pour it out in too thin of ribbons, you're not going to see a distinction once you meld all those colors out. And so when you pour it out in heavier ribbons, if you will, and you can see some of the heavier ribbons there, what I'm doing here is I'm pouring out that color that was more of a dark charcoal. And with that color, I'm more putting that in pockets because when I meld that out and after everything softens up, you're going to see just pockets of that charcoal. It's not going to be throughout, and it's not going to be kind of melded in with everything like the other two black colors are. So now I'm going to start melding those colors, and I'm going to do that very softly. I don't want to mix the colors. All I want to do really is just get the dry areas covered up. And here's where I told Dave, you know what, I'll do this side, you do that side. Now, I've always had, I guess, kind of a method of how I meld in those undertone colors. And out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching Dave, how he's doing it. And he gave me some new ideas. So that's one of the most important things about watching other artisans do this, if not even somebody like Dave, who's never touched epoxy before and never done anything like this before. But after I got everything torched out and I looked at the undertones, I asked Dave, what did you do different? How did you do that? And then I saw that he was kind of going with the back and forth motion instead of just taking his hand and going all one direction. And it really, really gave it a cool look. So I learned something, and that's awesome. As we went through this project, I kept keeping my eyes on Dave, and you'll see a little bit later when we start adding in some of the accent colors. I just handed the cup over to Dave because I could see he had a vision and I just wanted him to run with it. And then again, these are going to be his countertops that we're going to be creating. All right, so I'll run the torch over to get the air bubbles out and go on to the next step. And now what we're doing is taking a white pearl. This is a just resin paste. And I want to put some, not necessarily accents, but this is going to be kind of the focal point. And I wanted to go with a white pearl opposed to the stark white because I like the metallic that's in that white pearl. And I'm going to be adding some Alumilite Brown dye in there also. And then as I meld that white pearl very lightly with my hand, I'm going to be picking up some of the undertones to put in there as well, which will kind of tone that down a little bit. What I'm putting in there is aluminum. That's also a just resin paste, but I'm going very light with that. I'm only going to be putting that in a few areas. That aluminum and a lot of the silvers can really, really take over, so you got to be careful with them. So those I just wanted in as kind of some accents to complement that charcoal that is in the undertones. So that's what I'm putting down now. Then I'm just going to very lightly, very, very lightly, just kind of feather those out, as you can see that I'm doing with my hand. And here's one of the things that's really important with this technique and so many others for that matter, is you really, really have to give time for this to develop. Stone coat epoxy is going to stay fluid and workable for anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on your temperature of where you're pouring. So I know as I meld that out with my hand, if I see any finger marks, things like that, those are all going to soften up and move. As a matter of fact, take note of where you're seeing that vein closest to you in the picture, and then see where it is at the end, how much that whole design has kind of softened up and moved. So once I get that melded in, then I'm going to take my Alumilite Brown dye, and I think that's got to be one of my favorite colors because you get so many different hues, shades of that brown. As you feather it out, you'll get a lighter brown, and sometimes I'll leave it undisturbed, which is a little bit more of a darker brown, but it's a really, really pretty color. So just getting that melded out, and I think I'm going to be grabbing my cup of Alumilite Brown dye here in just a minute. And I probably should have left some of the dialogue in there that Dave and I were having, but just listening to him, I could tell that he was kind of getting some ideas, and I really wanted him to have free reign, kind of do what he wanted to do. So he had a little bit of a vision, and he wanted to keep getting his hands wet, and that's exactly what I wanted as well. So that's what he's doing, is he's seeing that and feathering that out more. Now I'm adding the Alumilite Brown dye accents, and I'm adding that into where the white pearl is, just because it's going to show up a little bit more, and you're going to be able to see the different tones of that brown like I was talking about. One of the things I know that I'm mentioning to Dave is, and it's something that we all do early on, that's continuing to work the design, where you really just need to give it time to develop. Step away, give it 5, 10, 15 minutes and see what it's going to do. So there's the brown, Alumilite Brown dye that I'm adding in there, and then we're going to be adding some blue accents. All right, some blue.
Okay.
Where? Do we want to go in a darker area or add color where we've got some color?
I was thinking on the outside edges as highlights.
Okay, so let's try.
Just like take the major color chunks and just basically like outline.
Like an outline, okay. So we can do that.
Okay, maybe not on the top side, just like stay consistent on the one edge. Isn't that look cool?
Yes. By the way, it was Dave's idea to use the blue earth as accents. And honestly, I wouldn't have even thought of that with the colors I was using, but boy, it really, really looked good. So as Dave is putting the accent veins in there, and that's blue earth mica powder, I grabbed the heat gun to soften that up a little bit, and then let's see what he thinks about it. Okay, so this here, I put the heat gun to it. Do you like that?
Nice. I do. I like that cloud effect.
Opposed to the harder line?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of spreads it and gives it
more natural.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So as Dave continues to put the blue accents where he wants them, and again, I love his vision. I love the fact that he can see that and kind of has an idea of where he wants to put the blue veins. And then I followed him with the heat gun just to kind of soften those up and move those around a little bit. Keep in mind too, is in time you can kind of see how that design continues to flow because the epoxy is still so fluid yet. So now I've got some 91% isopropyl alcohol, just spritzed the surface. And what that 91% isopropyl alcohol does is adds another effect. And when you're working with epoxy, you kind of get to know when you want to spritz it early on when the epoxy is very fluid, or if you want to spritz it with alcohol a little bit later on in the pour. By the way, I'm about to ask Dave if he wants to come back the next morning to help with the main pour. So see what that alcohol does? How it creates those cells?
Yep.
And then we're going to let that alcohol dissipate and allow those cells to kind of reform and change a little bit, and the epoxy is still moving.
Hmm?
You want to come over tomorrow morning? We'll get them all poured. You want to be a part of this?
You want me to be?
Well, yeah. Hell yeah. If you want to.
Yeah, that way if Sue hates it, she can blame me and not you.
All right, it's game on. Dave said he was going to come back the next morning, and he did. That's what we're going to be pouring, and so we got started. I got the colors poured out. I'm going to buzz through this fairly quickly, but I thought Dave did a fantastic job. I thought it was really cool. I could really tell that Dave really had an artistic eye for what we were doing, and I just thought it would be cool for him to be a part of this. I could tell that he wanted to. You could kind of tell when he said, "Well, do you want me to come over?" I really think he wanted to be a part of it. He really did a good job. We got the colors poured out, and he's going to do that long countertop. That's going to be his, and I think that's really cool that he's going to be able to say that he created that main countertop. That'll be the one that has the kitchen sink in it. Now he's getting his. That's the white pearl, and he's getting the those veins, I guess, poured out. And again, he's doing this on his own. He's had no instruction other than kind of following along with me. And I'm watching out of the corner of my eye, but he's really doing a good job. And when we get to the end here, we'll do a flyover. And I was really proud of him. He really did. He really did good. So he's getting the pearl white. He's getting that melted out. And what he was also able to tell from when we did the sample board is how much that it's going to change and how much all of that's going to develop over time. All right, we've got the ultimate top coat applied to all these pieces. I want to show you what Dave, the customer, what he did all on his own, this whole countertop piece. The sink will go in the middle there. By the way, I will point out, see these two pieces of tape, one there and one over there. That's to let us know where the sink is going to be at, because you certainly don't want to put the best design where you're going to be cutting out the hole for the sink. But Dave did a really good job. He did a really good job of melding in his colors, getting his accent colors in there. That blue earth looks really, really pretty. Got some brown in there to help tie in. If I can keep that little bit of glare out of there. It's really cool how we got that brown in there to help tie all that together. Really did a nice job. Piece turned out really nice. Can't wait to see that installed, and that'll be coming up in a few days, and then we'll get some overall pics. All right, everybody, that's it. Leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. Give me some thoughts on the design, and as always, if there's anything you think I can improve on in editing my videos, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Once again, this is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs, and we'll see you on the next video.